Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This video presentation for EDGC 1001, Introduction to School Counselling. We will be discussing a case conceptualization on adopted child issues. In this case, there are three main presenting issues. The first one is detachment issue between the adopted child and the adoptive family, which make the child feel left out and emotionally distanced. The second one is identity confusion, where the child struggles to understand the origins and sense of belonging. Lastly is family conflict, which includes the child being excluded by siblings and extended family members, as well as stress related to the learning about their biological parents. Next is treatment goals. There are three treatment goals to focus on creating positive changes within the family. The first goal is to strengthen the connection between the client and adoptive family, helping them build a secure and trusting relationship. The second goal is to support the client redefining their identity, allowing them to embrace the adoption story in a healthy way. Lastly is to improve family relationship by fostering a more supportive family environment.
Moving on to intervention. Based on the identified family dynamics, structural family therapy, or SFT, was chosen as the most appropriate intervention. For the first detachment issue, the main situation here is that the family members are emotionally distant from one another. So, the first technique that will be used is joining. The therapist will actively engage with all family members to build trust and rapport. The therapist will create a warm and empathetic environment by listening and responding carefully to the clients. This will help reduce resistance and make both parents and the child feel more comfortable sharing their thoughts and emotions during the session. The second technique is enactment. Here, the therapist will ask the child to act out real situations or real conflicts at home, such as moments where parents are overly protective and suddenly become too permissive at times. While the interaction is acted out, the therapist observes and gently guides the process by asking relevant questions. This will allow the parents to see the behavior from the child's perspective and helps the child express feelings in a more safe and controlled environment without worrying about the reactions of the parents.
In this case, the child feels uncertain about where they belong and start to questioning where they are origin. At the same time, the parents feel anxious and fearful that the child may emotionally distance themselves or even abandon the family. This confusion not come only from the child, but also from the parents' reaction, such as overprotection or unclear boundaries, which unintentionally increase the child's emotional distress. So, the first counseling technique used is boundary making. The purpose of the technique is to clarify the parent's role and limits while the child explores their identity. The counselor encourages parents to allow the child to explore their feelings and questions without excessive control or emotional pressure. By doing this, parents learn to provide support while still respecting the child's autonomy. As a result, parent anxiety and emotional enmeshment are reduced. The family becomes a safer emotional environment where the child feels comfortable expressing their feelings, thoughts, and emotions. This helps strengthen trust within the family. The second technique is reframing. The purpose of this reframing is to change how parents perceive the child's identity exploration. The counselors help parents understand the curiosity about biological parents or personal identity is a normal developmental process and does not mean rejection or disloyalty. Through reframing, parents' anxiety decreases and they respond more calmly and supportively. The child feels emotionally safe and free to explore their identity without guilt or fear of hurting their parents. In conclusion, identity confusion in children can be addressed effectively through family therapy techniques. Boundary making helps create healthy family structure, while reframing helps parents develop more positive and understanding perspective. Together, these techniques support the child's emotional development and strengthen family relationships.
So on the slide 5, we have two critical conflict, which is the child is feeling excluded from the family or siblings. And the second one is a tension between adoptive parents and also biological parents. So the first technique that we are using is enactment, which require them to do action instead of talking the problem. So the therapist will ask the client to make a scenario of the conflict that happens at home so they can observe the maladaptive pattern in real time and they can guide the family to make an immediate changes. And this hands-on correction reduce the tension and provide the family with a new function on how to communicate at home. The second technique is boundary making, which focuses on how to create a healthy family hierarchy. The therapist empower the parents to foster the siblings relationship to ensure that exclusion replaced by a sense of belonging and also mutual respect. We firm up the parental boundaries by not making the external family getting involved in our own family to create a subsystem stability so the parent can act as a team and benefit their children from a clear, predictable family structure.
Lastly, I will be presenting the expected outcomes regarding to the client problems. The first one is client demonstrate a secure and consistent sense of belonging within the family unit. For the second one is client freely express and explore a cohesive self-identity, integrating both biological and adoptive history. The third one is client and family members utilize healthy communication to manage and resolve conflicts.